It's a long way to the top. If you want to rock and roll, you want to rock and roll? Driving on the highway, going to a show. Stopping on the byway, playing rock and roll. Getting round, getting stoned, getting beat up, getting boned, getting high, getting shook. Watch all your bones, it's harder than it looks. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll. Is it easy to do one night stands? Try playing a rock and roll band. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll.
Good evening, race fans. I'm your host, Caden Reif, and welcome to another installment of the 2005 season of NASCAR Coca-Cola Cup Series. We're here from Richmond for the Pontiac Excitement 400, round 12 of 36 on the season. The first third of the season looking to get concluded here tonight as we take you trackside right away for some short track racing. Taking a look at your pole sitter, it will be Elliott Sadler in the 15 car for DEI, taking a surprise pole tonight. He will have Jamie McMurray in the 40 to his outside on the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have the 44 of Jerry Nadeau making a part-time start in third place, with teammate Brian Vickers to the outside in fourth. Fifth place goes to David Green in the 21, and the 16 of Greg Biffle will be starting in sixth place. Seventh is going to be Sterling Marlin in the 22 and Jeff Gordon in the 24 in 8th. Ninth place goes to Robbie Gordon in the 31 and Ryan Newman in 10th in the 12. Kyle Busch in 11th place with Carl Edwards in 12th. It'll be 13th place Kenny Wallace, 14th Todd Bodine in the 26. 15th is going to go to Kurt Busch, and 16th Ricky Hendricks. 17th place Bobby Labonte on the inside with Scott Wimmer in 18th to his outside. 19th is Tony Stewart in the 20 with the 77 of Dave Blaney in 20th place on the outer line. David Rudiman starts in 21st place, and Jeremy Mayfield in the 48 in 22nd. 23rd goes to Dale Jarrett in the 88 car, and 24th, Kevin Harvick. 25th place going to go to Matt Kenseth, and 26th will be his teammate Jeff Burton. Dale Earnhardt Jr. starting in 27th place with another teammate to his outside. It'll be Mike Skinner in 28th. 29th place is going to go to Johnny Sauter, and 30th, Don Thompson Jr. in the APR 33. It'll be John Wood in 31st in the 6th, and 32nd goes to Atwood in the 30. 33rd is going to be Andretti, 34th Mike Bliss, 35th Chad Little, 36th Morgan Shepherd, 37th a warm welcome back to Mark Martin in the 06 3M Ford, and 38th will be Michael Waltrip. 39th is going to be Scott Riggs in the 57 car, and points leader Casey Kane with a very slow showing in qualifying will be starting in the second to last row in 40th. 41st place is going to be Jeff Foltz, and rounding out the field, the 74 car of Tony Raines for Base Motorsports. 120 laps here from Richmond as we take you to the command to fire the engine's most famous words in motorsports.
Start your engines!
42 fire-breathing V8s roar to life here from Richmond as it's going to be a long one here tonight. Some Saturday night action on this 3/4-mile short track with Elliott Sadler and Jamie McMurray starting on the front row. Bit of a head-turner of a race last week. California had a lot of action on the racetrack. We saw Tony Stewart take his second consecutive win, looking to build on that momentum as the championship becomes to be a real conversation with only 2/3 of the season remaining. But nonetheless, a long race here tonight and expecting some trouble on the racetrack here today, looking to keep your car clean and out of trouble to have a best shot at winning this race. Pace car peels off, 120 laps, and Elliott Sadler leads us to the green flag here for the Pontiac Excitement 400. We are underway.
Boogity, 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 let's go racing, boys!
Down the back straightaway for the first time, Elliott Sadler clear for the race lead into turn 3. Throws a block on Jamie McMurray and will lead the opening lap of this race as they round turn 4. Chaos behind, as is usual here at Richmond. And here is McMurray down low into turn 1, and now into turn 3. He's got the pass made. Right as we looked away, McMurray makes a quick pass for P1, and the 40 car now up front.
Wow, Jerry up front as he gets up into that second spot.
Jerry Nadeau had a great race on the Friday race in Busch. Ran a fantastic showing in the 16 car, led plenty of laps that race, spent a lot of time in that top 5. Looking to build on that here tonight with a great run to start this race. Trails McMurray for the lead, nearly 3 wide back there for about 3rd or 4th. Robbie Gordon finding his way up on the inside there and into 4th position ahead of Green in the 21 car. Kyle Busch, a big mover early on. Rounding turn 4. McMurray pulls out in front of Nadeau a little bit. Elliott Sadler looking for the second spot. Sticks in line for now.
Nice to see some people we don't usually see up front for a while here, but
You know, it was great to see Elliott Sadler take pole, but I don't think that's going to last very long, especially with the way these DEI cars are today.
Been a struggle for them today. Ron Hornaday Jr. a D&Q into tonight's race, and Dale Jr. a bit of a poor qualifying run out of the 8 team. But Elliott Sadler running strong so far. Stuck on the outside right now, however. Preferred line is taken over, as that is Sterling Marlin on the inside for the 4th spot and Kyle Busch for 5th.
Robbie Gordon's already being a hard charger. He's on Jerry Nadeau's back bumper coming up for that 2nd place spot. But
this is a track in which is deceptively difficult to pass. We see all these moves, but you have to line it up, and you have to be able to actually get a run up on the outside, on the inside, which is easier said than done at a track like this.
And you have to be able to take risks and be able to use that front bumper. Don't be afraid to try and turn the guy right up next to you.
Battle for the 3rd spot between Marlin and Robbie Gordon. Talking about a lot of battles on the racetrack here today. Richmond, one of the most frantic racing facilities on the calendar. And as we said early on, expect chaos. Jamie McMurray still up front. Dodge is looking strong here today as Sterling Marlin takes 2nd place away from Nadeau and has his sights set on the 40 in the lead.
When was the last time? You know, I do think that Sterling, there's a glimmer of revenge that he's wanting here.
You take a look at the BDR camp, it's been a tough start to the year for them, especially in the case of the 22, who has picked up a little bit of momentum up and down. Both of those cars have found speed at various locations, but it's been a tough start so far on a year that a lot of people said was going to be their breakout year, a year that they could capitalize on the close field spread that was expected into this season. And Sterling Marlin, despite the slow start, looking to make a statement here today, running in the top 5, qualified well here tonight, and looking fast in the race trim.
I mean, the big story with Bill Davis Racing is can they put a full race together?
Absolutely, no doubt about it. Still, Dodge is 1 and 2, and Kyle Busch sits in 4th as well, holding 3 of the top 5 spots early in the running. Mentioned those Dodges looking quick here tonight. Tony Stewart, 2 races, 1 in a row going into tonight. He makes the pass on Elliott Sadler for 5th, and the Home Depot 20 already into the top 5, looking for more on Kyle Busch. Busch slams the door on him.
We do have some aggressive blocking going around here tonight, and one of these days, one of these laps, it's not going to work out as Kyle Busch starts edging against that yellow line.
Looking down low.
Edging? He just straight up ran the apron there.
Could not get the nose underneath for that 3rd spot, and in fact backed him up into Stewart, who looks low for 4th.
Deeper and deeper we get into this race, the flipper is starting to fit less and less and less. Starting to see a lot more familiar faces up front.
Battle for the lead now. Here is Sterling Marlin down low on McMurray. His old car fighting for the lead is the 22 down on the inside, and coming off of turn number 4, Sterling Marlin will lead his first lap of the night ahead of the 40 of McMurray. And he's going to have that pass made in turn 1.
Now can Sterling
McMurray trying to cross him over. Could not get the nose underneath. A nice block by the 22 off of turn number 4, but McMurray now has the nose back underneath. Side by side once more by these 2 Dodges for the lead.
And you know who's loving this more than the crowd? Tony Stewart there in 3rd place.
The more they fight, the more that Tony's going to be able to close in on him, and he's already looking to Sterling's inside.
Jamie McMurray clear back for the lead as he starts lap number 20. Got the lead back from the 22. A nice run by this 40, opening up this race. They talked about last week. They thought they had a good run taken away from him as fast as it has started at California. Qualified 2nd place in that race as well as today. Back-to-back 2nd place starting positions for McMurray, and looking strong here tonight. Fast Coors Light Dodge. Here's Stewart looking low for 2nd place. Marlin holds him off on the top side.
Not quite enough. Didn't get quite enough grip under there.
Backing up in 3 and 4 opens the door for Nadu to look low for 3rd. Here comes the 44 down low. Matt Kenseth, Ricky Hendrick have found their way up into the mix for the top 5 here. Kenseth stuck up high. Here's Hendrick down low.
And that's the thing about this track. You miss a move, not only are you just not going to get the position, you run the risk of losing more position to people behind you.
It's a track of mind games, this. A one gigantic steel match of chess, if you will. Tony Stewart got away with not losing any more spots there as Nadu could not make the pass on him. Ricky Hendrick stuck up on the outside there now as he goes side by side with his other teammate, Jeff Gordon, down on the bottom in the 24. Gordon looking to build on some momentum with a strong run at California last week.
But the thing that's really sitting pretty deep in everyone's chest here, as with most races at this track, is pit stops. One of the hardest pit roads to enter in the Coca-Cola Cup Series here.
Absolutely. It is difficult to get that car onto the apron there in turn 3, but also thinking about on exit in 1 and 2, it is really difficult to get back onto the track here as well. Both sides of this racing facility are really challenging to get into the pit lane at this track, and we've seen more than our fair share of mid-pit cycle cautions at this place in the past, and it's a lingering question as always as we come here every single time.
I mean, the thing is, do you short pit, do you long pit? That's the question.
It's such a tough question. You know, the tire wear at this racetrack is stronger than any else. You get a lot of lap time drop off at this track, and it just eats up your rubber you find it difficult to stay out on the older tires, but at the same time, if you pit early and get caught out by one of those unlucky cautions, could be the end of your race.
Speaking of rubber being eaten up, I think Sterling Marlin used up all his good rubber as Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon now start sliding past him.
Couple of front runners getting past the 22 as Marlin slips backwards. Kenseth on the inside now. Marlin already down to 4th and looking to lose that spot and fall down to 5th as Kenseth couldn't quite clear him off of turn 2, but has the better run. See, Marlin gained a little bit on him there, but Kenseth with the preferred line, and the 17 is still not quite done with that pass, but he should be into turn 1 here, and yes, he is. Kenseth through and into 4th.
McMurray, though, still out in front with that really fast set of wheels.
And Richmond, another thing about this racetrack is we've seen a lot of first-time triumphs here. This Friday, we saw Ryan Hemphill take his first Busch Series win in the 9 car, something that he had been looking for a long, long time. And also, this very race last year, Carl Edwards captured his first victory in the 97 Ford with a gutsy 2-tire call late in that race and held off Matt Kenseth for almost 20 laps on older tires. We've seen impressive drives at this racetrack from young guns, and Jamie McMurray definitely, amidst that sort of conversation right now, has led the majority of the laps of this race, a little over 30 completed, and he has put a buffer to veterans Stewart and Gordon behind him.
I mean, this race is just flying by. We're already over the way through it, and in just a blink of an eye.
Yeah, Richmond definitely also one of the faster races on the calendar with the 19-18 second laps at this racetrack. It is a fast lap.
Kyle Wood make the move on Sterling Marlin.
Battle for the 5th spot, and the 19 car is up and into the top 5 once more as he
Look
gets
at
around the 22.
Sterling has just run out of pace.
Not a lot of long run out of that Caterpillar 22. He continues to tumble down the order. Tony Stewart looking as strong as ever, slowly closing the gap to McMurray in the 40. Just a hint faster, as is the 24 and 17 who follow him through. And we could be seeing a battle for this race lead in just a short few laps if Stewart can close the rest of that gap up.
Tony Stewart has been an absolute force this season. And he's starting to prove it again that he's not done with his spectacular run.
Really could be the spring of Stewart here.
Had a slower start to the season, but has since racked up top 5 after top 5 so far this year. Got a piece of the apron there trying to get the nose underneath McMurray. Sticks in line into turn 3. Jeff Gordon was out of line there in 1 as well. Drops off the 20 a little bit, so it's just these two for first right now.
I mean, when was the last time someone won 3 in a row? Was it Harry Gant in 92?
It's been quite a long time since we saw anything like that. And with that, a third of this race completed, 40 laps finished, on lap 41 now. With 80 laps remaining, it's still Jamie McMurray up front, putting up some nice defensive moves on the 20 of Tony Stewart. Not a meek threat behind the 40. He's doing a heck of a job driving that Coors Light Dodge and keeping it up front in this race. It is familiar faces behind the 40. It is Stewart, Gordon, Kenseth, and Gordon the second, your top 5. And now here's Tony Stewart down on the inside in turn 1. Finally got the nose underneath. Side by side for the lead as they enter turn 3. McMurray powering on the outside.
McMurray really driving it through here.
It's going to be tough to keep it up there, though. Still had the nose ahead at the line that lap. And Tony Stewart driving away in turn 2. Here's Jeff Gordon for second place.
And it looks like the clock has struck midnight for Jamie McMurray.
Gordon could not keep the nose under the 40 there down the backstretch. McMurray holds on to second. Might not be about to give up without a fight. Closes the gap a little bit to Stewart, that half lap. And sits right on the back bumper of that Home Depot Chevrolet. Jeff Gordon putting some pressure on, though. Going to be a tall ask to hold off a 5-time Cup champion while trying to chase down another. Gordon looking low once again down the front stretch. He's going to have the nose underneath this time down into turn 1. Gordon v. McMurray for second place. Gordon with a great run through the middle of the corner. Almost got all the way up to Stewart for the lead. Gonna settle now. Although he might have a chance. A big run down the front stretch out of the 24. Gordon down low. Stewart tried to cut him off. Couldn't get the back bumper in front of the 24's front bumper. And Jeff Gordon sneaks through into the race lead.
Just gave him the old there you go right down the middle of the corner.
Jamie
and here
McMurray gonna pit. Pit stops here.
McMurray with the short pit. That's a peculiar strategy. Assuming he pits.
Stewart into the pits now. So McMurray's going to go for the fresher tires. We'll see if this racetrack stays green here.
We might have a 2-stop race here.
We definitely will. With that, the projected second stop would be around a lap 100. And Jeff Gordon staying on the racetrack. Robbie Gordon dives into the pit lane. Kyle Busch, Sterling Marlin stay out. Kurt Busch is into the pits, as is Biffle, Edwards, and others.
Well, if there's going to be a yellow this pit cycle, it's probably happening this lap.
McMurray going to be the first to emerge from the pit lane. Watch out, Kyle Busch. Going to give him enough room to get onto the racetrack as Busch dives in. And here's everybody now. A couple of cars staying out.
Believe that's Chad Little that led that lap?
Little and Jeff Burton still on the racetrack. Race leader is going to be Kenseth as 17 merges in. Bobby Labonte into the pits as well. And Little and Burton head in as well. Mark Martin into the pits as well as John Wood. And the rest of this field heading into the pit lane here. And it's going to be a long, long hold here for Jeff Gordon, who's going to have to wait for traffic to get out of the way. And finally finds an opening. That was a ton of time lost there for the 24, all the way behind the 00 of Waltrip. Robbie Gordon lost a lot of time in the pit lane there as well. Look out, merging from the pits is Bliss. Skinner gives him enough room. That is
A mess.
damage on Sauter. The 68 car looking like a bit of contact with Newman there. Kept it out of harm's way, however. But a little bit of damage to the front of his Dollar General Ford. So now we look at the order sorted out here. And everything has changed. And your race leader, Tony Stewart, number 20.
By a long shot.
Kenseth and McMurray battling away for the second spot on the racetrack. Kurt Busch finds his way into fourth after competitors struggle. Robbie Gordon fell all the way a lap down after his woes in the pits. Jeff Gordon is down to 37th place. Just held in the pits to no end were those guys, and just absolutely nothing they could have done.
And it seems like once again for the second week in a row the seas just part for Tony Stewart. But you have to take into account the difference in tire health. Some of the people that came in earlier might have issues keeping their pace together, keeping their pace up.
So you look at the last time that anyone won 3 races in a row. At the very least, Jeff Gordon in 1998 put together 4 consecutive wins from Pocono, Indy, Watkins, and Michigan. Tony Stewart putting together an absolutely stellar run, but definitely not out of the woods yet. Just prior to halfway, will be halfway at the line this time. McMurray and Kenseth, definitely not slow, but they continue to battle for second place. Gonna have to work together a little bit if they want to catch up to Stewart, and given the fact that these two are dead even on pace, it's not looking like that's going to be the case. As Kenseth
well, even if they are fighting a little bit, they are collecting draft off of each other. And most people don't think that the draft matters all that much here at Richmond. It matters a whole lot more than you think it does with how fast these guys go.
Yeah, average lap times are around above 130 miles an hour, 120. And you get up to as high as 160, as that looked like it might have been contact there between the 17 and 40 in turn 1. Get a look back at that one between those two in 1. Not quite sure, but it was definitely close. McMurray's still looking low. Kenseth cleared him on the outside.
I don't think Tony Stewart, though, could ask for a better teammate than Matt Kenseth right now.
Absolutely not, though Kenseth is starting to close in on Stewart now that he's passed McMurray and puts a gap on the 40 that last lap.
I think the 40 might have some damage from that contact.
Don't think they actually hit, but definitely got Kenseth spooked up the racetrack. Got a little sideways in front of the 40 of McMurray and held on to it. Heck of a job not to lose that thing, let alone keep the position.
It might not be all she wrote for this race. Here comes Matt Kenseth.
Told you, Kenseth was closing in. And he is not giving up. What a run by Kenseth these last few laps to just hunt down Tony Stewart for the lead. Looking low down the backstretch. He might have something for him here into turn 3. Stewart closes the door.
Matt Kenseth, I believe, just at the fastest lap of the race a couple laps ago.
Would have been close. Looks low again. A second opportunity. Stewart tries to shut the door. Does it again this time. Kenseth piling on the pressure, however, and still right behind the 20. And McMurray putting on pressure from third. Both of these guys looking faster than Stewart right now. Can either of them get by him is the question.
If Jamie McMurray can time this right, he might be able to do what Jeff Gordon did earlier and do a 2-for-1 special.
We will see, although he drops off a bit that lap. Not a big gap, though. Kenseth still right on the back bumper of Tony Stewart. Just cannot find enough of a run on corner exit to get the nose underneath him. It's going to have to be perfect, and I would have to imagine, although not for certain, it might have to be out of turn 4. It's the better spot, especially with the curved front stretch having to run higher going into turn 1. He's tried it a couple times into turn 3 to no avail. This is going to be tight, though. He's still right there. Just cannot find a way around him. Down the front, right on the back bumper once again, but Stewart covers him off nicely. Although Tony a bit up the track. Kenseth a piece of the apron.
Just blocked him onto the apron.
Got Kenseth squirreled up and lost him a bit of time down the backstretch. A little bit farther off the back bumper that time.
And all it takes is one lap car, and this goes from a contested battle to a mess.
Tell you what, Foltz in the 32 and Shepard in the 89 are up the road and within sight of these leaders. Kenseth again a piece of the apron in turn 2.
He's trying everything he can to get around the 20.
sort of biding his time right now, you know? He looked a lot faster on that run, just absolutely shot up to the back bumper, and now that he's right there, it's either a matter of he can't pass him or he doesn't quite want to yet.
I mean, when you're the 17 and you got a couple of Ford Manu teammates coming up as lap traffic.
Never mind, here he comes down the inside.
And he can't. Oh, he's got him.
Ooh,
Stewart tried to drive it off into turn 1 there. Kenseth still on the inside, dead even into turn number 3.
And he's clear. New leader, Matt Kenseth.
McMurray had to get out of the throttle thinking they were going to wreck in front of him.
This isn't over yet. They still have lap cars coming up ahead of them.
This is going to be tight, and Stewart not looking slow now that he's been passed by the 17 of Kenseth. It's always better to have a reference right in front of you, so Tony might be able to get back into the groove here. We will see. Kenseth pulls away just that tiny little bit down the backstretch, but Tony hanging right with him. Down the front, here's Stewart. Back down low. Trying to hang with him, still side by side, and Stewart clear the 17 off turn 4.
And Kenseth's already trying to look to the inside again, but he can't clear him yet.
And to talk about it, looking at previous races, Matt Kenseth, winner here last fall, won the second race at this racetrack last season, and trying to capitalize on his knowledge of this facility and take another one. But Tony Stewart, with the momentum over the last couple races, hanging strong up front. 40 laps to go at the line for the 20 of Tony Stewart. Big run by Kenseth towards turn 1. Couldn't quite pull up to the inside though. Foltz right in front. Only about 10 car lengths between him and the 20 now. We'll see how quickly Stewart can take care of that tied 32. Or if Kenseth can get him even before that.
I mean, lap traffic really complicates things here. You know, usually we don't get these long green runs here at Richmond.
Definitely not. Stewart closing up right at the right time. He's going to get underneath Foltz into turn number 1. Kenseth dropped off quite a bit there. And he's going to end up stuck at exactly the wrong place with Foltz slotted in between the two of them.
Oh, Ford is not going to be happy there.
Foltz hanging
maybe
with Stewart.
Maybe Jeff Wilson wants to get his lap back.
Drops off a bit out of 4 though, and here's Kenseth down low. And the 17 has that pass completed without a further conversation. Now has Stewart, the first car in front of him once again. Lost a little bit of time over the last couple laps. Wasn't even because of the 32. Ended up about 2 or 3 car lengths between the 20 and 17 before they caught Foltz. And he just ended up slotting in between them. Don't even think he lost any additional time thanks to the 32 at all. And in fact, closes up to Stewart now over the next couple laps and has a tiny little run. This is the perfect spot for it, but Shepard stays in front of these two. Kenseth again on the apron, trying to get that nose underneath the 20 of Stewart, who looks low on Morgan Shepard. Bit early, though. And problems for Skinner. Tire down on the 1 car.
He hit the wall.
Not in the way of traffic. Kept it on the apron. We're going to stay green. No debris off the one. He makes it to the pit
And
lane
this presents
safely.
a very interesting opportunity for Mike Skinner. He just short hit the field by 10 laps doing that.
That he did, expecting a 4-tire stop out of him.
Problem is, I don't know if Mike Skinner's
No, 2
car
tires.
Oh, God.
Only changed the tires that were down on that race car, so he will come back out onto the racetrack, I believe. Gonna check up on him, see where he is. Merging from the racetrack right now. What in the world? Got a piece of the inside wall there, but he's gonna merge
Whoa!
right next to his teammate, Dale Jr.
I think I see a number 1 figure coming out of the 8 of Junior right there. Must be
Tough
acknowledging his
spot.
car number.
For Skinner to merge onto the racetrack right next to Dale Jr. Meanwhile, for the lead, back up front, Stewart still holding a slim margin over Matt Kenseth for first and nearing this final pit window. Now, gotta ask you, crew chief, gonna be about 20 to go. Do you take 2? Do you take 4? Do you take none?
What I'm gonna try and do is I'm gonna try and stretch this last run. We saw people go 55 laps. You could stretch it to 56, 57, 58. You could probably get a splash in there. Because at the end of the day, tires really aren't. The difference between 2 tires and no tires is nothing.
And on top of
And
that,
you're not going to make any more time for taking 4 versus 2.
absolutely. That down low is Kenseth here in turn 1. Found the nose. Side by side for the lead with exactly 25 laps left. Down into turn number 3, it'll be Kenseth with the advantageous line, and he is going to complete the pass on Tony Stewart. But you talk about tire margins, and you know, we thought maybe tire wear today, but lap time's only down about half a second now at the very end of this run. Would be advantageous to take none, and now Tony Stewart dives into the pits.
And this is where we're going to see if Mike Skinner's little accident is actually going to pay off for him big time.
Stewart and McMurray was in even earlier, pit the last lap. We'll see what the plan is here for Stewart. 2 tires for McMurray. Expecting 2 on Stewart here, and he's away.
This could get messy quick, still.
Kenseth still on the racetrack in the 17. More pitters in right now. Kurt Busch in the pit lane. Kind of empty pit lane right now. Vickers the only other car in the pits right at the moment. Here's Stewart merging from the pits. He ends up side by side with Riggs. Ricky Hendrick in the pit lane in the 5, and he will pull away. Greg Biffle in as well. Slow trickle of pitters this time. Think you were right about stretching this run. Kenseth still on the racetrack in the race lead. 20 laps to go for the 17. And he
Problem
continues.
is that Detroit's going to have every lap to catch up on those fresher tires. So Kenseth's actually starting to cost himself, even if a yellow flag comes out. So I have a feeling that once Matt Kenseth actually decides to pit in the 17, Tony Stewart might be able to leapfrog him.
Oh, wreck!
There's a
Look out right in front of the leader. Tony Raines into the inside wall as well. Caution flag is gonna come out.
And Matt Kenseth, with the biggest sigh of relief I have ever heard. Tony Stewart will not win today.
That one gonna pay dividends. There is a crash, and that one involving the 74 car of Tony Raines in turn 4. Let's have a look at what happened here. Oh, Greg Biffle from the pits, 3 wide. And Dale Jr., again on the outside of a car emerging from the pits, did not cut him enough slack.
Yeah, and that's going to be a wreck 10 times out of 10 right there.
Greg Biffle driving as smart as Mike Skinner right there.
Not really anything Biffle could have done anyway. Bottom of 3 wide and got turned into. So we are under caution, and that screwed over a lot of this field.
I foresee a lot of people getting waved.
Tell you, one person, excuse me, woof, out here on the...
Oh, that's NASCAR's not gonna like that.
Tell you what, Matt Kenseth's staying out here under this caution flag.
That gutsy call from the 17 team. Do you agree with it?
I'm not sure I do.
I think I agree with it solely because he's trying his best to keep Tony down as many laps as he can.
Yeah, that's going to
Depends
cut
on how
off a
many
lot of
laps
drivers
are
from
there.
waving around here. Although, actually, I believe Tony Stewart will be the lucky dog. But we'll take you to intermission. Inside the final 20 laps here from Richmond. We'll be right back. It'll be inside 15 to go on the restart. We are back here from intermission, a wacky caution and a bunch of wave arounds, and Matt Kenseth and Scott Riggs went into the pits there, could not make it on fuel. So Kyle Busch cycles into the race lead inside the final 15 laps. 12 laps to go on the restart for the 19. He's got Harvick, Labonte, Little, and Burton behind him in the top 5 into the restart box, and we are back green. Great jump by the 19 into turn 1.
Those Dodges have been bad fast all weekend. And the 19, I believe, is the only one that's really been in the fight that's still up here.
Definitely is. Great run there on that first lap. He puts a big gap to the 29 of Harvick, who's going to have to fight an uphill battle to get back up there.
Starting to fall back a bit.
Labonte right on the back bumper of the 29 and looking faster. He's going to look low here for second place with 10 laps to go. Kyle Busch up front.
And this is definitely what Kyle really wants to see as he's looking for that first career win.
I'm not so sure. You know, Labonte was looking a bit quick there, was right on the bumper of Harvick the entire time. And if there's anybody who's hungry to win this race, Labonte, winless since 2002, into second place with a chance at the 19, and he's running him down in 1 and 2.
A desperate young gun and a desperate old man. I'd say the old man's going to get him.
Got the run out of turn 4 and closing in. 8 laps to go now for the 19 of Kyle Busch with Labonte bearing down on him.
I mean, the only cars that have really been able to challenge the Dodgers
And
today
he's
have
already
been-
got a run, looking low into turn 3. Kyle cuts him off.
That's
Very
a
nearly
block.
resulted in contact.
Kyle is not going to be able to hold Bobby Labonte off right there. This is going to be intense for the next 7 laps. As they head down the backstretch, Bobby Labonte, he's still trying to recover from that cutoff that Kyle Busch put on him right there.
Veteran
Shades of Carl Edwards?
Veteran looking for resurgence, and young gun looking for a repeat of last year. Down the backstretch, Labonte trying to charge back up to the back bumper of the 19. He's only got 5 laps to do it at the line, but he's right there off turn 4.
Caution, this lap will end the race.
Bobby's got his mojo back, but he's trying to track him back down for turn 1. He's closing it. You know, he
Little
gets a little
squirrely.
high.
Down the backstretch through 3 and 4 at the line. 4 laps to go.
Only 1 car length separates him and Kyle Busch. And oh boy, he keeps closing in, but he can't make that pass just yet. He looked in.
Still a little squirrely there in 1 and 2. Harvick closing from 3rd. This is the battle for the race win. It'll be 3 laps to go at the line. Labonte right there on the back bumper. He looks low down the front stretch. Side by side for the race lead entering turn 1.
Can Kyle hold him off? No, he can't. Bobby clears
It's
him.
not enough.
Bobby Labonte clear for the lead off of turn 2.
Now can he pull away, or is Kyle gonna make a go? Oh, he's getting him. He's
Kyle
getting
with
him.
a run off of turn 4. He's right there on the back bumper. 2 laps to go.
1 lap. He hit
Kyle on the apron for the lead almost.
He's only gonna have 1 more chance. He's gonna get shut off through 3 and 4.
Labonte pulling away off turn 4. 1 lap to go.
White flag in the air. Can Kyle Busch make that gap clear? He's going on that apron. But Bobby Labonte, he's denying him.
Through 3 and 4, he hasn't won since race 19 of 2002. He's finally back in victory lane. Bobby Labonte, your winner here at Richmond. How about that?
Oh my God, that was one hell of a finish.
Kyle Busch denied again, and Labonte triumphs here at Richmond.
Have you ever?
No, I have never.
What is that? Is that Kyle Busch? I think that's Kyle Busch's 7th second place finish.
I have never seen a charge like that. Bobby Labonte absolutely ran him down coming to the checkered flag there. In those closing laps, fastest car in the racetrack right there, and left him in the dust on the final lap. What a victory. gives his third straight win in the Cup Series, and this time it'll be the 18 car taking home the gold. It was a long time coming. Three wins in 2002, the last of which came at Loudon in the New England 300. He hadn't won in nearly 3 full calendar years, and he finally gets it done. Critics were wondering if he would ever win again. He's proven it here tonight. That'll do it from coverage here from Richmond. The Interstate Batteries Chevrolet, Bobby Labonte, is back in victory lane, takes home the win here tonight. What a drive. Kyle Busch comes up just short in second place. But we'll catch you next time as we've got a bit of off-week time. It'll be the Coca-Cola All-Star Challenge coming up next, a bit of exhibition action for $1 million and maybe some more. We'll catch you then, and as always, on behalf of my friends here in the booth, Braden and Trey, I'm Caden Reif, and as always, have a good one.